Hello everybody, I've got another one for you today. This is a bronze ranked match I played at the beginning of this current version of the game. Another update is coming in a couple days, and now that I know that replays are version specific, I figured I'd go through these last couple of replays while I still can. And you're going to get a kick out of this one. You're going to watch this and you're going to think to yourself, why don't I get matches like this, where everything is just handed to me on a silver platter? Because that's exactly what this match felt like to me. I'm here in the Wichita, the Tier 8 Premium American Cruiser. It is essentially the premium counterpart to Baltimore, and the playstyle is identical to Baltimore's, but there are a couple of key differences. Difference number one is that the radar has a slightly smaller range. I believe it's, is that right? Yeah, 9 kilometers instead of 10 kilometers. That's not so bad. You're giving up 1 kilometer of range, but you still have a very good radar, American radar with, you know, American radar action time. So looking good there. And for that reason, I'm coming around the island here, going towards the center of the map, or wanting to support the center of the map. I want to support my Akizuki. Now, because of the direction I chose to go, behind this island, it's going to take me a minute to get into a comfortable position, and a minute longer because the radar is just that much smaller than Baltimore's. I certainly can't sit all the way back here, because this is too far. I'm not going to be able to help anybody or do anything from that distance. I mean, I can shoot, but then I'm making my poor destroyer do all the spotting for me. So I need to get a little bit closer, and I'm headed towards that curved island to the right. Many thanks to the Akizuki for seeing those torpedoes so that I didn't risk running flat against them. And we're just going to perch up here. And the Akizuki is going to do something extremely helpful for us by letting up that smoke curtain. So this is exactly what we need to succeed, because Wichita has pretty light armor. I mean, you definitely have to worry about getting citadeled in this thing. Maybe not as worrisome as a British cruiser of any kind, but still, I can't just afford to show my broadsides willy-nilly, but I can in this case because the Akizuki left smoke for me to use. I'm not sure if that was a coincidence. Akizuki just smoked for herself, or if she intended for me to benefit from it as well, but I am benefiting from it, and that's very nice. Although, the submarine that's decided to swing around the corner is spotting me, so it's not foolproof. I have to be a little careful. So now I'm gonna get closer to hugging this island. But these two enemy battleships are just sitting there and taking it. And that's all they're gonna do for pretty much the entire battle. I mean, spoiler alert, but it's honestly for the best that that salmon had me spotted and encouraged me to duck behind cover, since those torpedoes just swung by. And unfortunately, he's a little too far for my Tier 8 ASW to reach, but that's okay. Smoke is still up. I think I'm actually not fully behind it for a moment there, but Vanguard has plenty else to worry about, and so does the Vladivostok. So I can fire at them with pretty much impunity right now. My detection is not consistent here. I keep getting detected, and then I go dark, and then I'm not detected, and then I'm detected again. So they're not even worried about me, right? I have other teammates that are a little juicier targets. The Zitan there, for example, and our own Vladivostok. So they're letting me get all these shots for free. And you'll notice that I'm using almost exclusively AP here. And this ends up being a really good match in terms of fires. Just fire starting, I'm getting away with it so much. The thing about Wichita is that it actually has slightly weaker AP than Baltimore. Now, it's only like 400 damage less per shell, I'm sure that adds up, but I wouldn't say that adds up enough to discourage anyone from using AP at an appropriate time. It's more that I was concerned about throwing AP into kind of awkwardly angled battleships at the end of my firing range. You know, I'm sure some of those would have penetrated and done decent damage, but I figured I might as well take advantage of the good fire starting. You know, 10-second reload with 9 guns that do 14% damage fire chance, looking pretty good, sitting pretty. So I mostly use the HE there. I'm already up to 5 fires for this match. 44,000 damage is not a crazy amount, but you have to keep in mind that it's almost exclusively fires that did all that so far. That's not bad for only being, you know, 6 minutes into the match. Now the only problem I'm really brushing up against is my firing range is awkward. And I also don't want to get too greedy. Now I'm going to do that anyway, but I don't immediately open fire on the Vladivostok until I get spotted and I realize that I'm not going to go unspotted anytime soon. I mean, this is a little precarious. I've decided to get closer, but I don't have a smoke curtain this time to hide behind. You know, Akizuki's on the other side of the middle area now. So I decide, fuck it. I mean, we're gonna full send it then. I mean, it's not smart, even though we're up by 2 ships, it's not really that smart for me to go charging in guns blazing, because things could turn around in an instant. And I see that Vladivostok is looking at me right now. I mean, he sees a beautiful broadside, and that really should give me pause, but he fires HE for some reason. I mean, hey man, it's Bronze League ranked, what are you gonna do? So I realize that I have stumbled into, frankly, a really risky and gratuitous situation. So I'm gonna turn out now and use this, you know, island circle area for cover. But now I have a much better shot with the AP shells. You know, that's a nice broadside, a lot closer to me. So I get some use out of that. And now the submarine is chasing me as well, to no avail, because I'm slipping behind these islands now. So get some splash damage off on it. And now it's just down to the salmon and the Cheshire. I hope that's how that's pronounced. I know some British words have very funny pronunciations. There's also the Z-23, which just got spotted out there in the middle as well. It's like they're handing themselves to us on a silver platter. I mean, at this point, victory is already assured. But I mean, look at that. 79,000 damage. And, you know, again, this ended up being a pretty quick match. It has not even been 10 minutes yet. But because he's the only one spotted right now, the first guy I'm worried about is the Cheshire. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to get a really good broadside shot. I know it has a massive citadel, but, you know, I misjudged that pretty severely, and I decide to shoot at the bow. I do get pens, to my shock. I mean, USN cruisers do have improved penetration angles after all, but still. Then I decide not to take advantage of my Halsey gun feeder and keep shooting AP. I don't really know what I was thinking there, but it didn't end up making much of a difference. But Z-23 flies a little too close to the sun here, just as my radar is coming off of cooldown. It's not going to end well for him. Not going to end well at all. That marks our 9th fire of the match. And our 2nd destruction. So now all that's left is the salmon, and I wish I could give you some suspense and tell you, oh, you know, those subs, you can never be too sure. But victory, like I said, is pretty assured at this point. However, I was awfully proud of the read on some of these shots. I mean, this feels like PQ levels of blind fire. I am able to use the oil slick, of course, as an indicator, but it's not perfect. He turns. You would barely notice, though, even from that ping indicator there, you would barely notice. But I saw he was going left. I might have saw that on the mini-map, actually. And he's running at the surface, so only a couple more shells in, and that's the game. It always feels good to punish a submarine like that, doesn't it? So, nothing too crazy, but, you know, just starting somewhat conservatively, and then once you get the advantage, just pushing out like a maniac. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you get away with that. I need to emphasize that I don't think I played the mid-game that well here, actually. I think that was stupid of me to charge in when and where I did, especially without any support. That Vladivostok could have killed me immediately if he had AP loaded instead of HE. But he didn't. So I was able to take advantage of that. And I was also able to correct my mistake before he was able to reload AP. That's the other thing. I mean, sometimes noticing that you're in a dangerous situation and getting out of it is the second best thing you could have done. So, good time was had by all. 105,000 damage, 1.3 million credits with blue booster, first blood, and what is that? High caliber, gotta love it. And a whopping 2,060 base XP in the Wichita. Love to see that. Although, commiserations to the enemy team, not a single one of them had a particularly outstanding score. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. I wish I could say I knew what they should have done differently, but I have no idea. I mean, I'm not that good at this game. I would have started with the battleships not sitting out in the open and taking all the fire from all angles for half the match, but what can you do? Anyway, I hope you got a kick out of that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.